Good evening, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube friends. We'll get started in just a minute. Hey, Gloria Williams, glad you could make it. Now, while we're waiting for more people to log in, if anyone has any addresses that they would like me to run this evening, I want to spend some time going over some different scenarios. And what I mean are I can plug in an address, tell you what programs are out there, and tell you exactly how I would structure those transactions to get in with very little money out of pocket. Right now, we're having great success with a relatively new program that we are coupling along or stacking with other programs that are out there to get people into homes with actually only $1,000 out of pocket. So that has limited coverage throughout the country, but I tend to pull a large audience from my hometown, which is Detroit. So southeastern Michigan is where I tend to get a fair amount of my audience from, but every now and then I get people from all over the country that stumbled across what I do. So if you have any particular addresses or any houses that you have in mind, throw those addresses in the chat box, and when I get to that portion of the presentation, I'll be happy to use the address. All right. All right, let's get started. Thank you all very much for carving out time this evening. Actually, looks like a little overcast. We could probably use a couple more showers. It's been a pretty dry past couple of weeks, with the exception of just rain on Sunday and Saturday a little bit, but still, I think we're overdue. Um, Great, Carmen. Thank you for sharing that address. Ingleside 48205. Awesome. So, all right. Thank you all for attending. Tonight is more of a webinar for people that have been to some of my previous webinars. So we'll probably have a light audience, maybe 30, 40 people between Zoom, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. So please, if you have questions, do not hesitate to reach out. I always like to start off with my link. This is the link where you can actually book a call with me. Always love to learn everyone's situation and put myself in their shoes and give you a feel for what programs are out there. So a lot of the what I call discovery calls are basically learn where your income credit situation is like, uh, where you want to move to. Then I'll identify all the programs and grants that are out there, and then tell you how we can structure the deals moving forward. So whether your timeline is 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, doesn't matter to me. I have been doing these webinars, gosh, consistently for probably 3 years now. And once I found these webinars and be able to talk to so many people at once, it's been a gift on both sides. So anyways, thank you very much for carving time out this evening. Let's jump right into it. And for any of you, let's get this here. I always record these webinars. So if you are looking for recording, we do have them available. you can always go out to my YouTube channel, which is called Own the Roof, OWNTHEROOF.com. So if you go to Own the Roof on YouTube and go into the live events area, you can see all of the webinars I've done over the past, yeah, like I said, 3 years or so. So with that being said, let's just jump right into it. So tonight, we're going to focus on number one, where do we find the programs? How do we find all the different down payment assistance programs and grants available throughout the country? So my team and I have developed a database of about 3,000 programs that are available to people. And we're also going to show you what that database, once you sign up for it, and we'll give you a link to that in a few moments, you can see what dollar amounts are available. And then you can reach out to us. We can tell you what the criteria is for each program, be it from credit score requirements, income requirements, things like that. And then we can tell you how to structure them, and more importantly, what lenders are doing them. So we can coach you every step of the way. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is John Collins. I've been in the real estate profession for 38 years now. So I got my real estate license back in 1987, I think is what it was. So approaching 39 years, I guess, now that I think about it. So worked my way selling real estate for first few years of my career, and then I spent well over 20 years in the mortgage world. That's how I learned to tap into a lot of these different down payment assistance programs and grants that are out there. And then after a meltdown back in 2013, I think it was, from a business venture that had a bookkeeper that took some liberties and embezzled some money, and everything came crashing down. So I look at it now and laugh, but very, very hard knocks. Went through a lot of things, several foreclosures, bankruptcy, you name it. I've been through it all. So with that being the case, been through it myself. I've also helped people through those things. So I say that just so you understand. I don't just, cite things from what I've learned. These are from the School of Hard Knocks. So that being said, when we started rebuilding about 13, 14 years ago, I realized that I actually qualified for some down payment assistance programs, and at the 11th hour, the loan officer decided that I didn't need them. That my wife still had a couple of $1,000s sitting in an old retirement account that could be liquidated for a down payment. So it still bugs me today that he did that, but by doing that, that actually triggered something for me where I realized that if it's happening to me, and I've been in the business for 20 plus years, it's probably happening to a lot of people, because these programs we all hear about, but there's really no one that gives you a good, clear path on how to connect with them. Okay, we hear about all this money that sits out there, but gaining access to it, that's a different story. So that's what I attempt to do. I give people a clear path to tap into different down payment assistance programs and grants. Most of the people that I work with are able to purchase with just a couple $1,000s out of pocket. So you're going to find that there's three things to buying a home. Number one is money. Okay, you need the down payment, the closing costs, things like that. I'm here to tell you the money, oddly enough, is the easiest part for me with all of these programs and things that we're going to show you. The second part is credit. Okay, so I find, especially now, there's nothing inexpensive about going to even the grocery store, for God's sakes. So every time we go to the grocery store, my wife and I look at each other. We can't believe what we're paying for the two of us. What we pay for the two of us with groceries is the same as I was paying 15 years ago when I had 4 kids in the house. So it's crazy. So I find, with that being said, people have some hard choices to make, and everyone's credit is not in a good spot. And I'm here to tell you, your credit doesn't have to be in a good spot. It is not about perfection, okay? It's just about getting your credit score where it needs to be to get you into these programs, okay? Now, for those of you that need help on that side, I do a credit building webinar because I had to rebuild my credit. And I will tell you now, it is 10 times easier to rebuild credit than it was 13, 14, 15 years ago when I was doing it. And let me get you a link to the credit repair webinar. And that is, let's see here. Huh. Interesting. All right, so the link, there it is, credit repair webinar. All right, here you go. Any of you that need help on credit, this is the link to register for my credit repair webinar. I do them once a month. I think the next one is on Saturday. It might be towards the end of the month. I'll take you to the website where you can see all the tools that we have available in just a few moments. But before I do that, I want to kind of give you some success stories. These are some of the people that we've been able to help over the past year. Here, Chelsea and Nate actually purchased this home in White Lake Township. They tapped into a $14,000 down payment assistance program to cover their down payment, and they actually got a free solar package with it as well. So very, very happy for them. Kenneth is a great story. Kenneth actually, his barber called me while Kenneth was in the barber chair, and he gave Kenneth the phone and said, you got to talk to this John guy. I helped the barber get a house several years ago. And Kenneth was actually being pushed to the streets by his landlord. So his landlord, he rented a house with another gentleman, and the gentleman left, and the landlord showed up one day and said, hey, what happened to the other tenant? And it's like, hey, he moved out. Well, you're not on the lease, so you got to go. So he actually pushed Kenneth out. And when I met Kenneth, he was actually looking for a house on the same street that I grew up on Lamphere in Detroit at Finkel and basically Finkel and Lasser area. So any of you that, always a shout out to Brightmoor area. So anyways, Kenneth was looking at a house, and the agent was trying to push him into it. And he felt that it wasn't a good fit, but he had to do something. So I was, hey, you know what? Let me meet you out at the house. So I met him at the house on Lamphere, and lo and behold, it needed work. It wasn't a quality house. Okay, it was a house that somebody, I hate to say it, was just putting some lipstick on and trying to flip it. And any of you that know the area, Brightmoor can be a little bit challenging to say the least. So let's put it this way. Most people don't want to move to that area. They want to move from. So anyways, we ended up finding, I was like, Kenneth, this nice house, good price, but I think we can do better. So we ended up finding a house over at actually 7 Mile in Evergreen and on Vaughn Street. And you can see the house here. It was totally redone on the outside. The inside, brand new kitchen. This person that flipped this house actually did a quality job. So, and there's a lot more to Kenneth's story. I'll spare you that, but he was able to get in. He bought the house for $95,000. We got a $10,000 down payment assistance program from the state of Michigan. All he needed to get into the house was $1,000. So great story there. More to it, but I've got a lot to cover tonight, so I won't go into the details too much. Next person, this is Shannon. Shannon was referred to me from the team over at the Kroger at 8 Mile in Wyoming. Shout out to that Kroger. I've been able to help, I've been blessed with probably a good half a dozen people that we were able to connect with different programs and get them into homes at that Kroger. Shannon purchased this home on Wyoming. It's a brick ranch, 3-bedroom. As you can see, the kitchen was redone. Shannon wanted to be close to work. This is within 2 blocks of that Kroger. And she's like a lot of people. There's a growing population of people that just don't want to drive. And I get it. There's a lot of crazy in this world right now. So my wife doesn't like driving. So anyways, Shannon was able to buy this home on Wyoming for $117,000. She only needed $2,000 out of pocket at the time of closing. She tapped into a zero down grant program. That was actually through Flagstar Bank. And then there is Emily. I always have to look because every now and then Emily makes my webinars. Don't see her there this evening. But Emily, special friend, met her probably about 1.5 years ago. And Emily is someone that I don't think she realizes how much she has done for a lot of families in the Detroit area. Emily is actually, she is a recipient, she gets a Section 8 voucher, okay? And the Section 8 voucher purchase program has been available for 5 to 7 years. I've just never had anybody that was successful in getting across the finish line. Well, Emily she's a different person. She got her certificate. She willed it across the finish line, and together I learned just as much from her as she did from me. It was a long haul, but she actually was able to kick the door open at the Detroit Housing Commission. She was the first person to ever buy a home using her voucher with the Detroit Housing Commission, and the program's been available for many years. It's just that no one really would take the time and patience to do it. Since then, I actually have a great relationship with the Detroit Housing Commission, and I have right now probably about 10 people that we're working with getting them into houses using their vouchers. So Emily qualified for $33,000 in down payment assistance programs and grants. She bought a home for $117,800. It was a great house, okay? 3 bedroom, brick ranch, fireplace. It was meticulously maintained. We got 25,000 from the City of Detroit down payment assistance program. Another $3,600, I think, is what it was for a down payment assistance from Flagstar Bank. $5,000 closing cost grant and a $500 appraisal grant. She ran the table. She got all of it. So very, very happy for Emily, and very proud to be the person to help her get in and get this whole ball rolling with the Detroit Housing Commission. So if any of you, regardless of where you are in the country, if any of you know of someone that is a recipient or has a voucher, there are options to turn that voucher into a mortgage, and the voucher will make your mortgage payment. So picture this: the voucher is going to pay off her house. Okay? It is an incredible program. So if you have any friends or family out there, please connect them with me. It's a great program. I actually do webinars just on that topic. I think the next one is coming up towards the end of the month. And then there's Tashiana. She qualified for the $10,000 down payment assistance program through the City of Detroit. Brian received $10K from the state of Michigan, purchased his home in Inkster. Payments are below $1,200, and he only needed, I think it was less than $1,000 at closing. And then finally, here's Deborah. Actually, I just talked to Deborah a few moments ago. Deborah ended up purchasing a home that she had rented for many, many years on Cherry Lawn. So her landlord, just a great guy. I don't often hear the good side of landlords, but she was blessed with a wonderful landlord by the name of LaDon. Now, Deborah actually qualified for a Tobias Harris $75,000 down payment assistance program, and that just got some recent funding, so I'm going to talk about that in a moment too. So this home that she purchased on Cherry Lawn was in the University District. She ended up, I think it appraised at about 187,000, I think is what it was. By the time we were done, between her gift of equity from her landlord, by the way, her landlord promised to sell it to her for 125, and that he honored it. So she ended up getting a mortgage for like $75,000 or less, and her payment's like $700 a month. So, I mean, that's the price of a 1 bedroom apartment right now. So, and it was the same way for Emily. Now, I'll be upfront with you, trying to get those types of deals done this year is becoming more challenging, okay? But not impossible. So, the one thing I can tell you is all of these people were once where you are right now. They had met me through a webinar or referred to me, but they were in your shoes, and basically over the course of time, they just believed enough where they just picked up the phone or scheduled a call with me, and we were able to get them pre-approved and get them into one of the down payment assistance programs or grants. So there's two programs right now that are top of mind since I'm heavily focused in southeastern Michigan, but keep in mind, I do this all over the country. Right now, the Tobias Harris program, still funding, has up to $75,000 available for Detroit residents. The only downside right now, Tobias Harris was actually traded to another. He's a professional basketball player. He was actually traded to another team, so he's no longer with the Pistons, but the program still exists. So what it will do is give up to 40% of a down payment. So if you're buying a $150,000 house, it can give you up to $60,000 to apply for a down payment. Now, the downside is you have to repay it once you sell the home. Okay, so you get free use of the money. They never charge you any interest. Okay, you never make any payments. So it is a great way to get a good quality house for a long period of time and drive those payments down as much as possible. So I always tell people this program is ideal for people that are like myself. I'm in my 60s. So I find if you're 60 or older and you're looking for a good quality house and want to manage it and get lower payments, this is a great program. Or if you're one of those families that are struggling right now, which, and they want to get a good quality house but a low payment, another one. I find that people in the middle of the road, it might be a little bit tough because this one requires 3% of your own money into the transaction. So if you're buying a $150,000 house, you got to have $4,500 into it minimum. Okay, that's the downside. It does have some income restrictions as well too. It says only in 9 zip codes. That's been lifted. It's available across the whole city. Next item, here it is, the City of Detroit $25,000 grant. Now this one is running out of money quickly. Okay, I have a couple people online for it, and the funding is delayed. I think they're waiting for funding in Washington. We went through this last year, same type of thing. Every now and then they run out of money, and they got to wait for the feds to get off their wallet. But I don't suspect they're going to refund it again. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of money coming out of Washington right now to help people with this type of stuff. So we've got to strike while the iron's hot. So if you are thinking you want to make a move in the next 12 months, I would tell you don't wait. Schedule a call with me right away, and let's figure out what we can do today before some of this funding runs out. Okay? So anyways, the Detroit 25,000, great program. I like that even better than a Tobias Harris program because it's free money. As long as you own the house for 3 years, you get to keep the whole $25,000. Okay? And then I always get people that say, hey, John, do you only do work in the city? Absolutely not. I have properties all over. Warren, I've got, 10 houses available in Warren, Redford, Farmington Hills, East Point, Roseville. So these are houses that were rentals that are going on the market. These are houses that people can get into any one of these for only $1,000 out of pocket. Okay, so if anybody wants more information on those, just hit me up. Happy to get it over to you. All right, now with that being said, let's jump right into the education side this evening. So what is down payment assistance and what are grants? Okay, I think it's important that we know the difference. A down payment assistance comes in 3 types. Okay, number one, a down payment assistance can be where a city or bank or state is going to give you money, and as long as you own the home for a period of time, be it 3-5 years, you get to keep all the money. Okay, that's the most preferred way. All right. The second one is you get free use of the money, where they'll give you money and you never have to make a payment on it. They don't charge you any interest, but when you sell the house, they want the money back. Okay, so another great thing. I mean, somebody else is giving you free use of their money for up to 30 years. So what's not to like? If somebody's going to give me $10,000 today to buy a house and I don't have to pay them back for 30 years, heck, do I really care? In 30 years, the house could double or triple in value. $10,000 will be nothing at that point in time. So, but that's the second choice. And then the third way is there are programs out there where they actually have structured payments where you have to repay the down payment over a certain time. They charge you an interest rate. I don't do those. I think last year I might have done 2 of them for people that were like high income area and didn't qualify for a lot of down payment assistance. So that's the last resort. I don't like to do those because there's so many of the other ones available. And as you're going to see in a moment, I'm going to give you access to the tool called Zero Down Scout, which has access to over 3,000 down payment assistance programs and grants across the country. So we'll have that coming up for you in just a moment. Now, grants. Grants, in my mind, just think anytime somebody's going to be a grant, that's a gift. Okay? We always want to hit grants first. Okay? Now, sometimes we can stack these programs. So if we're going to use a down payment assistance program, suppose we get a down payment assistance program of, let's use this, the City of Detroit, 25,000. Last year or the last go around, I could take that 25,000 and then stack grants on top of it. Okay? So that's how I was getting people $35,000. The city is not allowing that this time around. They thought we got a little bit too greedy last time, and maybe we did. But that's my job. My job is, if it's out there, my job is to get you as much money as possible to get that payment down as much as heavenly possible. So that's the difference between down payment assistance and grants. Now, just remember, grants first, then down payment assistance. With that, we want to get the free down payment assistance. They're almost just like grants. They just different words. And then if not, then we want to get the free use of the money. Okay. The repayment term ones, we don't really want to deal with those. So if you see those on our website or our tools, just try to navigate around those or call me for some clarity. Always happy to give it to you. Now, eligibility requirements. A lot of these programs basically just have 3 requirements. One, you've got to have a little bit of your own money into the transaction. We call it a little bit of skin in the game, for lack of better words. So a lot of times it's $1,000. Sometimes it's 1%. So if you're buying a house for $150,000, 1% is $1,500. Okay? So if need be, I always tell people plan on 2,000 to 3,000, and if we get you in with 1,500, you're going to be ecstatic. Okay? But don't think you need to have the 2,000 to 3,000. If your budget is that tight, just tell me. Okay? We'll pencil it that tight, and we will work together. To me, we just need to communicate. I find that most of the people, when they find me, they weren't thinking about buying a house. And then they go through my webinars, they get to know me, they see some of the highlights or whatever, and then they're like, wow, maybe I can pull this off. So it's not uncommon for me. Heck, I just had somebody today where they're like, John, I'll be upfront with you. I don't have any money. I'm like, that's fine. What do you have today? Well, can you give $500 today for this? Yes. Can you give me $500 in 2 to 3 weeks? Yes. And then $500 at closing in a month or 2? Yeah, I can do that. Well, that's fine. That's how we work it out. Okay. It's all about communication. So never let money hold you back. Okay. We'll find a way around that. That's the easy part. Like I always say, that's my job. The second eligibility requirement, credit. Okay. There are some programs that will go down. Typically, we need to see the credit scores above a 580. Ideally, above a 600 is where we start really hitting it. And the higher the credit scores are, the more programs we can stack. Okay? So, because a lot of them have credit requirements. So, for example, if we're thinking like Emily or Deborah, they had very good credit scores. I think their credit scores were 700, 720 area. When you start getting above a 680, we can start stacking a lot of programs on top of each other. Okay? But again, remember, this isn't about perfection. If your credit scores are above 600 right now, I've got a bank called First Merchants Bank that's just killing it right now with some programs. I just had a lady that purchased a condo in Clinton Township. Okay? 0 down, $150,000 condo, no mortgage insurance because it's a special program. She's purchasing in a moderate to low income area in Clinton Township. just by the grace of God, this subdivision falls right into it. She's going to qualify for a low income because she's retired, Social Security, income of about $3,000 a month on Social Security. So she's getting a $5,000 closing cost, basically grant or gift at the time of closing, another $2,500 because she's buying in a low to moderate income area, and an additional $2,500. She's actually going to get $10,000 to cover her closing costs. That's more than what she needs. So what we're probably going to do is use some of that excess money to buy down her interest rate, because we don't want to leave it on the table if she's got access to it, to get her a lower payment. Okay, so so credit scores. Credit scores are a big thing when it comes to stacking the programs. But as long as your credit score is above 600, you have access to zero down right now and access to $5,000 in closing costs. Okay, I'm going to repeat that because this is a key one. I don't typically run into this. Zero down, no mortgage insurance, conventional loan, and $5,000 in closing costs. Oh, so great, great product. And that's through First Merchants Bank. And by the way, if you need an introduction, I always give people the names of the banks. And when you go out and see the banks or the names of the programs on my application, I'm going to show you in a few moments, please don't go to the banks yourselves and just call their call center, okay? Without fail, once a week, I have someone that will call me and go, John, I went to one of your webinars. You said your tool said to go to Bank of America. It was offering $17,000. And the person at Bank of America won't return my phone calls. Well, Bank of America has about 2,000 or more loan officers. They don't know who I am. They're not going to share your information with me. If you call me and allow me to make an introduction for you, hey, go to so-and-so at Bank of America or here at Flagstore or here at First Merchants. Let me make that introduction for you. Reason being, when you have hiccups, and there will always be hiccups, okay? I'm not here to tell you it's going to be unicorns and rainbows. There's always hiccups. I can at least have a candid conversation because my biggest pet peeve is when people don't return phone calls, okay? Whether it's good news or not, okay? Most of the people I've worked with, I don't know how you are, but I've had bad news in my life. In fact, just hit me straight with it. I can deal with it. Just don't blow smoke and get my family, hyped up for a move and pull the rug out. That's what I can't tolerate. That's why I implore people, call me, let me make that introduction, because when you run into hurdles, I can jump in and hold those loan officers accountable because I'm the person that's constantly referring their names out. Make sense? All right. Next eligibility requirement is income. Now, we need to have sufficient income to cover the new house payment. So they don't like to see more than 40 to 45% of your income go to your house payment and whatever bills are showing up on your credit report, and if you have any recurring bills that show up on your bank statements. So let's say, for example, you have an income of, let's just say $4,000 a month. 45% of 4,000 is going to be 1,800. Suppose you have a car payment of 400, maybe a credit card of 50, and maybe a student loan of 50. Okay, that's $500. We take 1,800, subtract the 500, that leaves $1,300 left to purchase a home. Right now, $1,300 is buying, or it's getting about a $150,000 mortgage. That when I give you a payment, it's not just the mortgage, that's with the average taxes and insurance and everything, okay? I don't want to just tell you what the mortgage payment is because that's not what you're paying every month, okay? I like to give you I'll give you the whole payment up front with everything in it. What's my monthly note going to be? That's what it really comes down to. So, so that being the case, income and a percentage of your income is called debt to income ratios. Those are things that we take into account. Now, don't think that because you're on a fixed income, you can't buy a house, okay? I will tell you 2-3 of the people Kenneth was on Social Security and we got him that one house. Emily was on Social Security and we got her in. And then the last one, Deborah, was on Social Security. She ended up buying the house. Okay, so there's lots of ways to do it. A lot of people think because they're on a fixed income, we can't get things done. Sometimes it makes it a little bit more challenging. I'll admit that, but it's patience and persistence. That's really what it comes down to. So the benefits of down payment assistance and grants, well, the benefits are we always want to hit grants first, and then, like I said, then down payment assistance on top of that. Some of the misconceptions of down payment assistance. All right, these people always think that, and this is probably industry professionals. They're like, oh, down payment assistance, I heard they're expensive. They can be. Some of the loans are expensive to get into. Some of them they charge higher interest rates. Some of them you have to repay. But that's only some. There's a database of 3,000 I'm about to show you. So I don't work with those, okay? There are some expensive programs out there. The other thing is, I always tell people, another reason to reach out to me versus going directly to the lender is I know what lenders are doing well in certain marketplaces, okay? I get people that will go to a bank or go to their credit union. Chances are most banks and credit unions only offer 2 or 3 programs. So the chance that that bank or credit union's going to have the best program is pretty slim, okay? So right now, I don't know about you, but a few months ago, I didn't even know who First Merchants Bank was. Now, it's my favorite lender because they're paying people's closing costs. So until that runs out, and then we'll find another one that'll be my favorite. But for the most part, there's a handful of lenders that I like to play with that really do well with the first-time home buyer grants and down payment assistance programs. So, all right, moving forward. Okay, so here, these are the steps that I recommend or that I do when it comes to purchasing a home using these down payment assistance programs and grants. The first thing we want to do is we want to identify the programs first. And the reason we want to do that is we want to make sure we're going to the right lender because, like I said, not all lenders offer all programs. So first step, we're going to research the programs, and let's jump into that. So this is the tool that my team and I created. You can download it on the Apple Play Store or the Apple Store or Google Play Store, excuse me. It's called Zero Down Scout, okay? And when you go out there, you can hit it up on my website too. In fact, if you want any of these tools, this is really the only thing you have to remember. Own the Roof, OWNTHEROOF, owntheroof.com. I keep all my tools and all my free resources are right here, okay? Everything I do is educational intent and for free. First, I have, and I might as well go through it here. I've written a couple of books. The first book is No Down Payment, No Problem. Okay. The second one is No Credit, No Problem. Okay. If you want to buy these on Amazon, you're welcome to do it. I didn't put it up on Amazon to make money. I put it up on Amazon to get, optimization. So, if you want it, just email me or text me and I will send you a free copy, okay? No reason to pay for it, okay? The next thing, Zero Down Scout. If you want access to the tool with all of the programs on it, you can go right to our website, look at Zero Down Scout, and you'll see there's a link here for the Apple Store and the Google Play Store. Just click on it, and then you can download it. Okay. Next thing, Section 8 homeownership. Any of you that are thinking, I've got lots of tools here for that. In fact, we have a webinar. I don't know when the next webinar, I don't think I've scheduled it yet. Yeah, we still have our old date for August 15th. I'm trying to work out a date. It probably won't happen till, I'm hoping we can get one in by the end of August. But our last webinar we did in conjunction with the Detroit Housing Commission. So, we're going to try and do another webinar in conjunction with them, so we can have one of the representatives to go through and maybe dot the I's and cross the T's from a compliance standpoint. You're probably beginning to know how I am. I just say it like it is. So I probably say what they can't. But truth be told, I love having them as wingmen on my webinars because they actually get it done. Okay, and I'm telling you right now, if there's any housing commission out there to be working with, I'm telling you, the Detroit Housing Commission and their leadership, the gentleman there, Terrence Watson, oh my gosh, he has been awesome with regards to helping people get into homes. So anytime I have somebody and send them his way, he is responding instantly. So, all right, the next thing on my website, we've got the Zero Down webinars, and you can actually apply for a credit repair webinar. I got to reschedule. Looks like the next one is actually a week from Saturday, August 15th at 9 a.m. is my next credit repair webinar. And for those of you, I don't know how you are, I'm not a reader, okay? I like Audible books and stuff when I'm doing my yard work or whatever, so I love listening to things. But not everybody likes that. So we actually did digital courses. So I recorded videos of my book. And it's a condensed version. So the no down payment guide course is probably about 5-6 hours. And it's just me going over all the different ways to get in with no money down. I also have a good 3-hour video course going over credit repair. And for those of you that want a higher level education, I actually have another 3-hour webinar on how to structure deals with very little money out of pocket. It's kind of a behind the curtain thing. I find it's more for real estate agents, mortgage people, on little tricks that I've learned over the years as far as getting people in with very little money out of pocket. So those are all, everything here is 100% free. Okay, it's just, that's what I do. So by giving away all of this free information, all of these tools, it just keeps my phone ringing. And it's like I told you, about 12, 13 years ago, after my meltdown financially, I had a choice. Do I want to get back on that hamster wheel and recreate what I did? Because I didn't. It really wasn't that fulfilling of a life. I was just a mule going in every day trying to make numbers and sales numbers. That's when my wife and I made a decision. Do you like helping people and educating people? That's when I started to do this. So I will forever just keep giving this stuff away. And the more I give away, the more blessed I am with people that need help, and it all works out. It's all good. So anyways, let's get back on track with Zero Down Scout. This is the app. Once you download it, okay, it's going to ask you a bunch of questions. If you're comfortable answering them, great. If not, then that's fine too. But ideally, what you can do is put in an address. So for example, let's try my old address, 16801 Lamphere. And in Detroit. And you can see that right now there's 73 programs in Michigan, 9 in Detroit. Hit see my programs, and you can see, look at Detroit Down Payment Assistance, 100% match, 25,000. Home Boost, 25. MSHDA Appreciation Standard, this is a new one, not familiar with that one. Wayne County, 10. MSHDA, 10. Michigan First, 7,500. Wayne County, I think that one just ran out of money. MSHDA. So there's lots of programs out here to get people in with very little money out of pocket. Now, someone actually put in an address here earlier. I'm going to type this address in. Let's see what we get. All right, we've got 71. Ingleside and Detroit. College Park. Okay, let's see what that one looks like. We're going to get another 9 programs. Looks like that one might probably be the City Detroit program, might be the best one as well too. So So this is what I would do. First of all, you got to download Zero Down Scout. Go out to the, like I said, the Google Play or Apple Store, whatever device you have, download it. You can play with it. You'll find that when you get into certain cities, you're going to see the same cast of programs over and over for the most part. Every now and then, there are some programs that will change block to block. Okay. For example, when we start getting into some of the, some cities have what they call empowerment zones. Every now and then you might think there's only 9 programs throughout the whole city, then boom, you'll hit a certain zip code or a certain block, and there's going to be one that spikes up. So that's why it's important to check every single house, number one. And number two, let me, before you jump forward and start, calling different lenders or programs or this, reach out to me so I can make sure you're dialing into the best one. Because if there's another one out there, you'd be surprised how many times there are programs that are specific to a few, they call them census tracts, okay? And it's a federal thing. So there are different census tracts. So some of these programs are census tract driven, and a lot of people don't look at that data. If you don't look at the census tracts, you could miss a ton of money, okay? And the census tract is done through a special website. It's a federal website. They call it FEFIC. You don't need to know that stuff, but just the same, that's where I tend to trip over even more money, okay? So Carmen, there you go. 25,000 looks like it's the best program right now. I would like to run that through the FEFIC website to see if there's some more money out there for you as well. So, but that is Zero Down Scout. We are very, very proud of it. Like I said, there's over 3,000 programs across the United States. And as you can see, I think it was 79 programs throughout the state of Michigan. So great tool that way. Next thing, so that's where we find all the money. Here's a QR code if you want to download Zero Down Scout right now. So the first thing you want to do is you want to identify the programs that are out there, okay? Ideally, you want to target a geographic area. A lot of these programs are based on the area that you're looking in. So if you can drill down to a zip code, great. If you can drill down to a certain block, then we can do more of the FEFIC search to see if it's in a low to moderate income area and kind of backtrack whether there's some low-hanging grants out there to tap into. But it's important to identify the programs first. Then we want to see, do you fit in the program? Or how do we structure the transactions? And this is what I wanted to go over tonight in just a little bit more detail, is the actual program. So let's say, for example, you find a house of $200,000. Suppose the taxes right now are $2,500, closing costs would be about $2,500, and your homeowner's insurance might be about $1,800, title insurance is $1,200. So the total closing costs can be about $8,000 nowadays, okay? It's crazy how expensive stuff is getting. Now, the down payment typically on a $200,000 might be about $6,000. So the total to purchase it might be $14,000, okay? Now, if we come up with $10,000, and I'm telling you, $10,000 is easy. If you're, like, we've already just showed you one for $25,000. So, but suppose somebody's looking in an area where we can only get $10,000 from the state of Michigan. We subtract $10,000, it shows $4,000 is due at the time between, the time you sign the agreement and the time of closing. The other side of it is we can actually ask the seller to pay some of this $4,000. So if we get a seller that the house, a house that's been on the market for a couple of weeks, it's not crazy to ask the seller, hey, can you give me $2,000 towards the closing costs? Or if the seller says, no, it's only been in the market a couple of days, maybe we go back to the lender. We can get lender credits, okay? And the lender credits are a little bit more of a high-level conversation, but they're an option, okay? There's also closing cost grants like we talked about. First Merchants has a $5,000 closing cost grant. Bam, this $4,000's gone. Keep in mind, you still have to have your skin in the game. You got to have at least $1,000 or 1%. So 1% of 200,000 would be 2,000. So that's how you get in with just a couple $1,000 out of pocket. Now, if you're buying a $150,000 house, this number might come down by a couple $1,000s. Okay, it doesn't come down a ton. Now, as far as payments on a $200,000 house, right now, based on the principal and interest, taxes, insurance, mortgage insurance, coming at $1,688. If you lower this to $150,000, your payments are coming in about $1,300 right now, about the price of a two-bedroom apartment. So right now, the average two-bedroom apartment across the country is $1,350 a month, and oddly enough, that's exactly where it is in southeastern Michigan. So this is kind of the easy way of structuring the transactions to get people in with very little money out of pocket. So the next thing we want to do, once we figured out the program, we got your numbers down, we want to make sure your eligibility is there too. Okay, is your credit there? Is your income there? Is your income low enough? Sometimes they have income restrictions. You can't make above a certain amount, okay? So as much as they don't want to see you have too little that you can afford the payments, some of these programs are designed for moderate to low income families. But that depends on where you're looking. Right now, moderate income, Macomb County, I just did some of the day, $121,000. That's the median income in Macomb County. I'm like, when did that happen? So the other side of it is, as long as you make 80% or less of the median income, so for Macomb County, if you make less than $90,000, boom, you're getting lots of money. So these programs are out there for, average families that are, that are making what I consider modest incomes. Most of the people I work with are making less than probably $60,000 each person, maybe under 50. I mean, I do a lot of people that are in fixed incomes. So, so when I hear, 121,000 is the area median income, I was kind of surprised with that one for Macomb County. So again, we want to check your eligibility, make sure we're heading in the right direction. From there, we want to gather your documentation, okay? So we need to get your proof of income, your awards letter, maybe your pay stubs, W-2s, tax returns if you're self-employed, bank statements if you have them. Okay, we just need to show where your money goes for a couple of months. Not everybody has bank accounts. They might have debit cards or, maybe not a debit card, but some type of card that things go on. We just get statements for that, okay? So we do need to prove your income, okay? We have to show that your income is stable, and we have to show a 2-year track record. It doesn't have to be the same job for 2 years. We just have to show that you've been working somewhere or you've had income coming in for the past couple of years. Sometimes if you're unemployed, say you've been off for a couple of months, we have to show 2 years and a couple months. We just have to show a 2-year period. Once we get that done, then we want to connect you with a lender for your pre-approval. But by then, you and I are going to know this is the program. I'm not going to connect you with a lender unless I'm 90% sure that you're going to get done, okay? So one thing you will never hear from me is the word no. I'm just going to say, you know what? We're not quite there yet. We just need to do this, 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 and we'll get there. Whether it's 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years, doesn't matter to me. Okay, so that's why I always encourage people, schedule those calls as soon as possible so we can get you on the right track. So, but once we connect you with a lender, they're going to get you done. Okay, sometimes they can get those pre-approvals done in a day. Sometimes it may take 2 or 3 days if your income is a little bit more questionable. Maybe you had 5 or 6 employers in the past year. You might have to go through some things. Or maybe if it's part-time income, they might have to average it over a couple of years. And rather than make a mistake, they're going to send it to the person that makes the decision for an approval. And then you're walking out with a higher degree of confidence that you're going to get across the finish line. Like I said earlier, I don't want to get you excited, or even worse, get your family excited for a move and then get the rug pulled out. That's not the way we roll. So after we connect you with the lender, Then we're going to connect you with an agent. Now, the agents that I work with are going to be skilled in getting these deals across the finish line. Okay. Now, I have showing agents all over southeastern Michigan. I've got relationships all over the country, state, you name it. It's just, so if you're not in my neck of the woods, I have someone in your area. If you're in southeastern Michigan, that's my sweet spot. I've got people opening doors all over the city. But when it comes to negotiating your deal and putting your deal together and structuring it, you're going to be talking to me. Okay. For whatever reason, I'm kind of old school. I just don't like handing that stuff off yet. I need to get better at it. I'll admit that. But that's the one thing that I enjoy the most, because if my name is behind it, it's just, I want to make sure, like I said, there's always bumps in the road. So everybody will always have access to me. In fact, let me put this in, right, my phone number in here, 248-252-7283. There you go. There's my cell phone number. Best number to reach me at. I always ask people, please try to book a call if you can, but don't be shy. I give out my cell phone number for a reason. Okay? I expect people to use it. Okay? I am a phone jockey. I'm on the phone all day. My wife calls me Chatty Cathy. I just love learning people's story and love trying to give help wherever I can. So if I'm not available, and you don't want to leave a voicemail, that's fine. Just shoot me a text, and then I'll call you in between calls. See, even though my calendar gets filled up with phone calls all day, everybody's busy, and not everybody can hold the phone call that they scheduled with me. And I get that. So thanks, Carmen. I appreciate that. So, all right, you're kind of dating yourself if you remember Chatty Cathy. So that's, yeah, that's actually my sister-in-laws are the ones that are like that. They're a few years older than I am. So you're certainly dating yourself. So anyways, my voicemails sometimes get filled. Just text me, okay? I'll call you in between calls because, like I said, about a third of the phone calls I have scheduled on my calendar, people's lives get in the way and they can't hold it. So I'll call you back, okay? So, so we then will connect you with a realtor that'll open any doors you want to see. So I always tell people, imagine open the door to your home for you and your family. It's a process, but it is possible, okay? There's nothing here that's rocket science. It's just, I hang around the industry long enough where I know how to navigate this stuff as easily as possible. So now, I want to start getting into some of the questions. I saw somebody tossed an address in there, and I always like to hang around for as many questions as possible. Let me jump back, if you don't mind, and let's get the Zero Down Scout app, and let's run that address that somebody put in here. In the meantime, while I'm doing this, any questions, please type them in the chat box. Adrian, you have a voucher. Oh, with the Detroit Housing Commission. Awesome. So check to see if you, I don't know whether you've taken the purchase program or course, but the person heading that up is Terrence Watson right now. Just a great guy to work with. He is definitely, him and I are kindred spirits. So we just love helping people. Cameron, 2 years, congratulations on your retirement. Credit well above 600. Okay, plenty of options for you, Carmen. I said Cameron, I'm sorry, it's Carmen. So plenty of options for you, Carmen. Please schedule a call with me. Love to learn your business. And then, Adrian, let me get, if you could, Adrian, could you please text my cell phone number and text me your email address? And when we break this evening, I'll send you an email and text you both of those books. Carmen, if you wouldn't mind doing that too, just text me your email address. Here's my phone number, 248-252-7283, and I'll do those before I leave this evening. Hi, Jacqueline. Let's see. Oh, you just repeated that number. Let me hopefully you got that phone number there, Jacqueline, 248-252-7283. Melissa Fryer. Okay, here's a great question. She basically, and this is, I go over this in my credit repair course, Melissa, but I'm going to go over it now because it's something that a lot of people get tripped up on. Now, if you have a bankruptcy, basically there's two types of bankruptcy. There's Chapter 7 and there's Chapter 13. Now, if you have a Chapter 7, you have to wait for 2 years from the discharge date before we can do something. Okay? So, but if it's a bankruptcy that just happened, the good news is it's never been easier to rebuild credit. I can get somebody from after a bankruptcy, you can see scores crash down to the low 400s. I could probably get you up to a 700 credit score in about 12 months just with all of the tools that I cover in my credit repair webinar. And I'm just putting a link into that right now. So please register for my credit repair webinar. If it's a Chapter 13, you do have options. Okay, if you're currently in a Chapter 13 and you've made 12 months payments to the trustee, you can buy a house. I do it a couple times a year. So don't let anybody tell you you can't. You just have to have 12 months payments made on time. Carmen, great. Okay, let me copy that here. My laptop 55 at Outlook. Got it? Okay, Melissa, you are in a Chapter 13. So a Chapter 13, for those of you who don't know, that's a reorganization. That's a long road. Okay, that's a tough one. So what happens is the trustee negotiates the balances down with your creditors, and you pay the trustee back for 5-6 years. But what they'll do is they actually take your payment to the trustee, factor it into your debt to income ratios, and we can buy a house. Okay, it's a little bit more of an advanced maneuver because a lot of people don't realize it can be done. So I would tell you, Melissa, please schedule a call with me and happy to walk you through it. The only thing we have to do is we have to get your trustee's approval, and that's usually not a problem. It's usually just a formality. So we just tell the trustee that it's less expensive for you to actually purchase than it is to rent, and then they're usually on board with it. Okay? All right. Jacqueline says, I have a voucher as well. Mr. Watson gave me your number. Oh, awesome. I'm glad you made it here this evening. So would love, Jacqueline, if you could please just text me, and here's my number, 248-252-283. Typing is off. There you go. There's my cell phone number. If you could text me your email address, and I will, I'll get those off to you this evening. You know what? I only have two. You said I'd love to see 3 books. I only have 2. One is the credit repair book, and the other one is the no down payment book. So I'm not, remember I said earlier, I don't read that much. I like audibles. Writing those books took way longer than I thought, but it was something that I committed to, so we took a lot of time off to do it. So let's see here. And I should, oh, you know what? There's another place you can get the books. I always forget about this. We actually have a link on our website. If you go to owntheroof.com/, I think if you type in free book, you can enter your name and number, and you'll get a copy of my free book emailed to you. So, but go ahead and text it to me as well, and I'll send you both copies. Carmen, I'll be happy to, I'll send you both copies, the no down payment and the credit book. Which if you don't want one, you can just delete it. You're welcome, Jacqueline. All right. Gosh, I didn't realize we're past the 1 hour mark, and I always like to have these wrapped up, at least on my side. Any other questions? So I really do appreciate all of you taking time out of your summer evenings. I feel like the summer is just flying by right now, and I want to check with my Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube friends. Any questions? Thanks, Carmen. I appreciate it. So I will get some rest tonight. So it's been a long day. So, all right. Well, I will. I'm going to spend a few moments getting those books out to everyone. Let me check my phone, make sure. I don't see any text, so let me write down. Okay. Carmen and Jacqueline. Jacqueline, would you mind putting your email address? You can either text it to my cell phone or. Oh, Jacqueline, you're welcome. Okay. Got it. Okay. So Jacqueline, it looks like Delisa. Thank you. And just want to make sure I'm not missing anyone. Oh, Adrian, you had Tracy. And you know what, Adrian? Do you have the zip code for Tracy? A lot of those things. I'm sorry, promised to do that for you. And so, anyone else that's on the webinar that would like copies of the books, please, don't be shy. You can text me and randomly text me your email address and just say, John, can you please give me a copy of your books? And like I said, we give them out to everyone. So, oh, one thing, if I could trouble you, and I always forget to do this, if you could give me some help. We are trying to get our reviews up on Google. I guess having reviews on Google really helps the algorithms, and it helps them share our website and what we do with other people. So I just put a link in the chat box. If you could go out to Google and leave a review, just, hey, John's lots of education, whatever your review is of it. If you could give us the 4 or 5 stars, I'd certainly appreciate it. But we're trying to, the more reviews we get, I think once we can get up to 100, and I always forget to ask for them. So I need to do a better job of that. So, because we're all about trying to get the message out to as many people as possible. So if you have any friends or family members or anybody that just needs help or is kind of stuck in the rental area, gosh, I hope you think of me. Like I said, there's not too many situations I haven't run into in my career. So so regardless of people's situations, whether it's 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, doesn't matter to me. I find that for me, it's just about paying it forward and coaching as many people as possible, and good things happen from there. So, so I want to thank you all very much for your time this evening, and I'll get those books out to you before I leave today, and hope you all schedule calls. And hey, thank you for all the Housing Commission people that are on today. I appreciate you raising your hands, and hope our paths cross again soon. So have a good night, everyone. Take care. Thank you, Delisa. Carmen, appreciate your participation. Jacqueline, praise God, amen. All right, have a good night, everyone. Take care.
Record.